Hello and welcome to Schneider Auditorium at Johnson & Wales University. At this time, we ask that you please silence your cell phones. We also ask that your mask remains on for the entirety of today's performance. At the end of the performance, please follow the arrows on the ground to exit the theater. Our cast and crew will appear in the front lobby after their performance to reunite with their friends and family. And as a reminder, any videotaping or audio recording of this production is strictly prohibited. Now, sit back and relax as the JWU Players proudly present Working a Musical. Standby lights 2 through 6, video 1 and 2, border in and sound 10. House out, lights 2 and border in, go. Lights 3 and video 1, go. Lights 4 and video 2, go. Lights 5, sound 10, border out, go.
I'm looking at the sign, Duke and Lee's, as father and son. And your son Lee is how old?
Right,
24.
introduced
24.
television
He's your
commercials.
partner.
Big
Yes.
ones like
And
General
Lee, you've
Mills,
been
Campbell.
working with
Well,
father how long?
Kraft.
Like this morning, I was
I'm
at
probably one of
5.
the
12 years old.
Well,
State
you know,
early morning
I started 42 years ago.
Oh, I love
And
it.
came out in the course of the years, I did everything
brave
from strippers to a thing called roller derby,
Of
hell on
course.
wheels.
I hear America singing. I hear the very carols are America singing. The mason singing, the waitress singing, the mill worker singing, the manager singing,
The fireman singing,
each one singing, the teacher,
the trucker,
the hooker, the housewife. I hear America singing, America singing.
Every load is a challenge. When you finally
I feel like Carmen in a way, like a gypsy, holding out a tambourine as they just blow their coins.
Pick it up and put it
Flying
down.
around the world with all these great benefits, meeting all these great people.
Hey, somebody, don't you wanna hear the story of my life? One of them movie companies, TV documentaries. Won't you come and ask me, please, and pay me $1 million to tell you what I do at the 'cause if you pay me $1 million, I wouldn't have to go and do it no more.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just like the song say, all the live long day. Everybody does know that song. Looking for a living the whole day long. All the live long day. Hey somebody, won't you turn your head? Take a look my way. You know that I'll tell you.
they know they nothing new.
Like again, you know who.
Me and my old pal
Monday,
shine every
rain
day.
or shine, Monday. And another cup of coffee, get the juices flowing. Another cup of coffee, get the juices flowing. Another cup of coffee, get the juices flowing. And it's 1, 2, 3, get going. Just like the song say, all the live long day. Everybody doesn't know that song. Working for a living the whole day long.
all the live long, just like the song says, all the live long day, just like the song says, all the live long day, just like the song says, all the live long day, just like the song says, all the live long day. Everybody does know that song, and they're living the whole day long, all the live long day.
I'm a dying breed, a laborer, strictly muscle work. Pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up and put it down. Typically, in the morning, you wait at the shanty until 7 o'clock. Now you go in at 7 and you start walking your way up the ladder, climbing up the steel. Every 2 floors, you plank it off. Then, you disconnect the bottom of the mast and you tie it to the boom on top of the choking cable. Then you do the same thing and you pick up the other side. I started working structural steel when I was 18 years old. I've worked on buildings probably 1,000 feet high. Most people are afraid of heights like that, so automatically every ironworker has an ego. You're doing something somebody else can't do. You get to wear a tool belt. When you're a kid, 18 years old, and you got your wrenches in like a holster, you're like a cowboy. But I always knew I wanted to be an ironworker. My brothers were ironworkers, and my father was an ironworker. So it was a natural course of events. My father, he was very disappointed I didn't go to college. We had a college boy at work this summer. One time he saw a book in my back pocket. He was amazed. He says to me, "You read?" Yeah, that's what can get to you. The non-recognition by other people. To say a man is just a laborer, a woman is just a waitress. It bothers you sometimes. You know, some mornings, I look across the skyline for a building I once worked on. You see that building? Well, I helped build it. And I know some guy is sitting in his corner office behind his $5,000 desk. And he's never going to think about me. But yeah, I think about him sometimes. Amanda, where is that P&L report?
It's on your desk.
Why is it not in my hand?
I'm a project manager. I arrive here at 7:30 a.m. and I leave at 8 p.m. In between my meetings, I answer emails and phone calls and try to avoid my boss. You always have a boss. Sometimes you have an okay boss. Sometimes you have a Satan boss. He's not behind me, is he? Sometimes I wish these walls were just a little bit higher. I've worked in a lot of different cubicles. I've worked in high wall cubes. I've worked in half height cubes. Listen, with the way things are these days, I'm glad to work in any cubicle at all. I have friends who would kill for this job. For any job.
I paper the walls of my cubicles with posters. I bring in fresh flowers, brought in my favorite ceramic lamp. This little collection of things on top of my computer, I call them computer gods. I guess I have a lot more decorations than I thought, but, you know, in a cubicle, things like glow-in-the-dark skeletons go a long way.
Sharing a cubicle is sort of like sharing a bathroom stall. I don't care how tall the sides are, how big it is. You are still in there with someone else. In not a sexy way.
I can see the programmer in the cubicle next to me through the reflection in our window. Sometimes I can see her and what she's doing. Quite often, she's just emailing jokes to her sister. I've also acquired a webcam. I have it set up so it points behind me, and there's a little window on my computer screen, which is the webcam picture. So when somebody walks behind me, I can see them.
I grew up expecting that I would get out of college and make $1 million. I grew up expecting that someone was just going to deliver a Mercedes to my door, so it's been quite a rude awakening. This is the first time in 4 generations that I have it worse than my parents.
Jobs are not big enough for people. When you ask most people who they often define themselves by their jobs. I'm a doctor. I'm a carpenter. I'm a sportscaster. When you ask me, I say, I'm Amanda McKinney, and at certain points in time, I do things for a living. My mentality is totally different than the people who are 20 years older, the lifers. They'll lay me off if it's prudent, and I accept that. I know that they have a business to run. I don't perceive anyone my age thinks, I've got a job for life. What they think is, all right, I'm going to get as much as I can out of this company, and then I'm going to move on and make more money. This is my first job of many.
This is my first job. I smell like a burger. The register is easy. Hey, you want a burger? I hit the picture of the burger. Every day is the same old thing. Hello, chicken nugget, quarter pounder. And I wait for that phone to ring, the phone at the end of the counter. When I see the manager writing down an order, when I see the manager making change, when I see the manager writing an address, I whisper, yes, give me some change and send me on my way. Okay, I'm off on a delivery, and I'm finally on my own.
Off on a
Delivery peace, and I'm heading to parts unknown.
Off on a delivery.
Fresh air and exercise. Sometimes I throw in some extra fries. For calling it in today, my world is gray until they send me away on a delivery. Now the wind is in my hair. No one's watching me. I can wander anywhere. But the food is getting cold, and so I do as I am told. Responsibilities. I have responsibilities. See, my father sits at home. He doesn't work anymore. And my mother works a double shift at the department store. And it's nice not having to ask for money. And it's nice not having to ask for dinner. And it's nice on nights when you have to get away.
I need delivery.
I'm gonna work every day, I'm putting money away. Hey, you know what they say, slow and steady. I'm making minimum wage, pretty good for my age. If I can manage to save, I'll be ready to go. Wherever I gotta go, wherever destiny leads me. But now the restaurant feeds me and my family needs me. Delivery!
Yes!
The customer's always right.
My delivery.
Thanks for getting me out of the house tonight. I keep the order straight and I say sorry if I'm late.
You're late.
Some extra napkins for your plate for making you wait. That'll be $12.98 on a delivery. I can wander out of range.
My delivery.
Towards a future new and strange. This job is just my start, but wait, I haven't told you my favorite part. It's when they pay, and then they say,
Fuck it, keep the change.
keep the change, keep the change, keep the change. And bit by bit I keep the change. If I save a little every day, this job's gonna deliver me far away. And I'll look back on this and say, thank God for delivering.
I'm a guy who likes to work. Some people enjoy tennis. I enjoy work. I enjoy being a leader. I enjoy being the guy everyone looks to. I like the responsibility of having a team of people working for me. In our world of money, money management is still the sexiest job there is. You're just asking to go at the East Bank Club. Money is hot. True story. They once did a study that found that just looking at a Maserati made girls produce twice as many hormones as usual. Oh yeah. If you want to call me a shallow douchebag, a corporate tool, a frickin' robber baron, I take it as a compliment. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's what this country's about, right? Free market. It's not perfect. But if they would leave it alone, it would sure as hell correct itself better than any regulator can. Yeah, some companies will go away, some people will lose money, and some jobs will fail, but that's just basic capitalism. Who developed America? The SEC, the regulators, or was it the Mellons, the Rockefellers? I mean, tell me what they did wrong. Rockefeller exploited some workers in the copper mines. Maybe he shot some of them fine. Not perfect, but who benefited? There's still Standard Oil, isn't there? Mellon's Bank is still around. Look, how many charities were started by these people? How many national parks, theaters, museums are here for us to enjoy thanks to these robber barons? These are the giants who built our city, who built our country. If you don't have losers, you cannot have winners. One moment, please. Yeah. You okay? Hey, give me 5 minutes, all right? Yeah, okay. Look, I'm going to have to cut it short. Got to get back on the phone for the market closes overseas. Look, if you want to make it in this world, you got to work. Kid wants to make it, he's got to work those long hours, and he's got to know how to outsmart the regulators to make a profit. Christ, it's easy. Look, if you can't outsmart one little government staff, you shouldn't come to work in the morning. That's what I should do. I should be their teacher. I've always wanted to teach. That's what I'll do when I get older. Look out for young people. Give them my knowledge, my experience, my values.
Good morning, Manuel. How you doing? Good morning, Selena. I missed you. In your heart, you may have a dislike for a certain child, yet you forced yourself to say, good morning, Hernando. How you doing? Someone forgot to take his Ritalin this morning. My name's Rose Hoffman. I teach 3rd grade. At 9:15, we start with arithmetic. I have tables fun written on the board. Multiplication. You don't say tables, you say tables fun, because everything has to be fun, fun, fun. I tell my kids, Mrs. Hoffman's here, everybody works. Working is a blessing. Back in my day, I had 18 to 20 students who stayed in my class from the beginning bell to the very end. Today, I have about 37 in my class. The children come in, they play with their cell phones, and they leave for computer lab, art therapy. Oh yes, I have seen great changes since I began teaching in 1967. January 6th, 1967. My students back then were Polish primarily. I love the Polish people. They work hard. My classroom was always a showcase. In those days, we did it ourselves. With colorful pictures and charts on the wall. A snowman in winter, a pumpkin in fall. And all my supplies were in neat little piles on the shelves. My children were always respectful. When the principal came, they would rise. If I had to leave for a minute or two, they always found something constructive to do. And everyone sat in their places according to size. But kids don't know how to behave anymore. Ask them to rise, and they'll ask you, what for? We confiscate weapons and drugs at the door. No spitballs or comic books now. They want me to teach in a classroom like that, but nobody tells me how. I made a big thing about spelling, but they learned by the time I got through. They copied the words till they knew them by heart, 10 times for the dumb ones and twice for the smart. Gold stars were given to those who made sentences too. But why bother teaching them spelling today? Nobody knows how to read anyway. How can they spell what they can't even say? It's say habla español now. The way I've been teaching for 40-some years is no longer effective. So it appears, well, damn it, it worked for me then, so what's wrong with it now? They say I'm supposed to keep up with the times, but nobody ever tells me how. There is one girl in my mind in all my years of teaching, my favorite. She was never very bright, but she was never any trouble. I see her every once in a while. She gives no trouble today either. She has the same smile for everyone.
The first 2 months I started flying, I had already been to New York, London, and Paris, which is pretty huge when you're from Kankakee, Illinois. But after you start working for the airlines, it's not actually as glamorous as you thought it was going to be. Sometimes people just get nasty. I mean, they're harassed by security, and then they get delivered to us, and your shining personality only goes so far. We get scared sometimes, too. I've never yet been so scared that I didn't want to get on a plane, but there have been times at takeoff when something's been funny. Oh, one time I was working first class and we had a load full of passengers, and the captain tells me we're going to have to make an emergency landing in Chicago because we lost a pin out of the nose gear. When we land, the nose gear is going to collapse, so he wants me to prepare the whole cabin for this landing, but not for another 2 hours, and not to tell the other flight attendants because they're new and would get all excited. So I had to keep this inside me for 2 hours, and I'm wondering, am I gonna die today? So I'm serving food and drinks, and this guy gets mad at me because his omelet's too cold. I was gonna say, you just wait, buddy. You're not gonna have to worry about that fucking omelet. When I told my parents I was going into the airlines, they were so excited. My mother especially thought that it was great that I could have the ambition, have the nerve to go to the city on my own and try to accomplish something. Really, I just wanted to get out of Kankakee.
If you want to have a thrill, there's no comparison, not even to that of a jet plane, and climbing up onto that steel truck and getting out there on the Dan Ryan Expressway. The minute you climb up onto that truck, you forget about the wife and kids you kiss goodbye, and the adrenaline starts pumping. Breaker number 9, big buddy, put your ears on for me now. Big trucker gotta have a big lie. So come on, brother trucker, you gotta come back a mother. Keep seeing double lest I close one eye. I got to roll, 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 brother trucker. Sure enough, shame by the shape I'm in. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Outward bound from South Bend. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. Running out of whites. Goddamn dim those headlights. hours sleep in the last 2 nights. But I gotta be alright. I got to row, 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 row the trucker. I say where and you say when. Row, 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 row the trucker. Back on my wheels again. I got to row, 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 row the trucker. Backing on up and do it again. Row, 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 row the trucker. Back on my wheels again. Gone for a week, 2 weeks. Picking up a load at one port, dropping it off to another. You sit in that truck and your only companionship's your own thoughts. And you do not want to get stuck thinking about the problems you have at home. So, you turn up the radio. If you can play it loud enough to hear over the engine. Yeah, we truckers fantasize something tremendous. We think about that girl behind the voice. We build up something in our brains until we begin to believe it. Moving over New Jersey, big state police. I'm in a hurry. Won't you let me go in peace? I'm independent. I ain't got no teamster though, 'cause the AFOL and the CIO, they still don't own the road. But the only man telling me where to go is the man who owns the land. He says, row, 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 brother trucker. I say where and you say when. Row, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. Row, 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 brother trucker. Backing on up and do it again. Row, 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 brother trucker. Back on my wheels again. Back on my wheels again. Row, 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 brother trucker. Backing on up and do it again. Row, 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 brother trucker. Back on my wheels again. Back on my wheels again. Coming home to your wife can be sort of a letdown. She has to raise the kids. She has to fight off the bill collectors. She can't even count on her own husband to get a graduation or a communion. When I do get home, I'm so tired, I'd rather be going to sleep than getting ready for a Saturday night out. I make 2 round trips to Evansville and back and pass within 4 blocks of my own house. I never go home. It's just easier to keep on moving. So, you call your wife and tell her you won't be back. Hey, honey. Hello? Effing phone company.
Verizon Tech Support, this is Johnny. How may I help you?
Yeah, this number isn't working. I have like 4 bars.
I'm sorry, sir. Can I have the number you were trying to reach?
Yeah, it's 219-765-5910.
I'm sorry, sir. All circuits in your area are busy.
What? Jesus, I can't understand anything you're saying. What's wrong with you people?
I'm sorry, sir. Why don't you wait 5 minutes and try to place your call again? You know, you'd think they'd be grateful getting a live person instead of a computer. Most of the time, if they're upset, you really want to talk to them. For me, it's that temptation to say, gee, what's the matter? But you can't say much more than, I'm sorry you're having trouble. If you get caught talking to a customer, that's 1 mark against you. 3 marks in your... This one woman, she called me and she said, operator, I'm lonesome. Will you talk to me? And I said, gee, I'm sorry. I just can't. But you can't. I'm a communications person and I can't communicate.
So I always thought of receptionist as the loser at the front desk taking phone messages. Now, I am one. So of course I had to change my opinion. She had to be special, right? Because I'm so special. I was fine until we were having this office party. I'd be having a fairly intelligent conversation with someone when they'd ask me what I did. I'd say, I'm a receptionist. They'd make up some excuse and walk away. So now I make up other names for what I do. Communications control, entry management. I'm tired at the end of the day.
But you get tired of talking. You talk for 6 hours straight without a 10-minute break.
You can't
Everyone's
think.
in a hurry
What
to
I do
talk
all
to
day
everyone
is say
else,
what
but
I have
not
to
to
say
you.
as quickly
You
as
can't
possible
think.
and
You're in a
transfer the
room the
call to
size of a
whoever it's
gymnasium
going
filled
to.
with people talking
I've
to
noticed
people
people
thousands
ask
of
me to
miles
slow down when I'm
away.
talking. I never listen in a phone conversation.
Do I listen on phone conversations?
But let me tell you, some people really do. I once worked for
Especially late at
AT&T
night.
and all the
You'll be
girls
sitting
listen
there
on
on
phone
the line and
conversations.
just people will be so
I don't
absurd
care
that
who
you
you are.
laugh
If you
until
work
there's
late nights and
tears
it's real
rolling down
quiet,
your
you're going
face.
to listen in on phone conversations.
It makes the night go faster.
Sometimes to make the day go faster, I do drawings. Mundane sort of things, never people. I like to pretend that I'm alone and it's quiet. I call it the land of no phone. I never answer the phone at home. Hello? Oh, sorry, my husband gets the paper at the office and I read it online. No, I don't have an office. I don't work. I work. No, I work. Of course I work. It's just that, I don't have a job. Anyways, thanks for the offer. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I guess at my mother's age, they would have called me a housewife. That's funny. It's not like I sit around all day watching soap operas. I have a lot of work to do. You know, sometimes you just want something more exciting to talk about at a dinner party. You know, something that matters. What I do only matters to 3 people. All I am is just a housewife. Nothing special, nothing great. What I do is kind of boring. All I am is someone's mother. All I am is someone's wife. All of which seems unimportant. All it is just my life. Do the laundry, wash the dishes, take the dog out, clean the house, shop for groceries, look for specials. God, it seems so Mickey Mouse. Drop the kids off, pick their shirts up, try to lose weight, try again. Keep the troops fed, pick their things up, lose your patience. Count to 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All I am is just a housewife, just a housewife, nothing great. What I do is out of fashion, what I feel is out of date. All I am is someone's mother, right away I'm not too bright. All of which seems unimportant, so the TV talk shows tell me every night. I don't mean to complain at all, but they make you feel like you're 2 feet tall when you're just a wife. All they see are the pots and pans and the Pepsi cans of a person's life. You're a whiz if you go to work, but you're just a jerk if you say you won't. People say that the choice is mine, that your choice is fine, but you know they don't. What I do, what I choose to do, maybe dumb to you, but it's not to me. Is it dumb that they need me there? Is it dumb to care as I do, you see? And I mean, did you ever think, really stop and think what a job it was? Doing all the things that a housewife does. I'm afraid it's unimpressive. All I am is just a housewife, nothing special. What I do is unexciting. Kind of dull. Take the kids here, take the kids there. Mommy, I don't mean to complain at all. Busy. All I am is like my mother. All I am is just a housewife.
UPS!
You just can't sneak up on someone like that.
Sorry.
It's all right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. You gotta make excitement for yourself, you know? Where is he? Where is he? I've been bit once already today.
by a Doberman. You know, that's the biggest part of a dog's day, when the UPS man comes. So, when no one's looking, you kick him down the street. Even if he's just following you, you get him for the one you missed a couple houses back. Yeah, that's the biggest topic of conversation with us. Dogs. And women. You know, if you have a nice looking babe that's kind of brightening your day, we have a code for that in the system. I'll put a Q. That stands for QT. If you have a nice looking honey laying out there in her backyard with a 2-piece bathing suit on, she'll be laying out there on her back with her top strap undone. Whew! Well, if you go up to her and scare her good enough, she'll jump up. It gives you something to do. Makes excitement for the day. UPS!
I didn't want to become a housewife like my mother and sisters. Somehow I knew I wanted more out of life. I was 15 and I was sitting in this coffee shop when my friend came by and said, "Yo, I got a cab waiting. We can make $500 in just 20 minutes. So we went up to this penthouse, and the guy there was quite well known. He wanted to watch 2 women do it, and then he wanted to have sex with me. I mean, it was barely sex. He was practically finished by the time we started. It was a tremendous kick. I mean, there I was, doing nothing, feeling nothing, and I was going to walk out of there with $500 in my pocket. Just out of curiosity, how many people do you know that make $500 in just 20 minutes of work? And I was still in high school.
I like to think of myself as an upper-class working girl. The press call me a socialite, which is just another word for a well-dressed fundraiser. To me, fundraising is like candy. You get to talk with fascinating people and promote causes you love. What could be more delicious than that? I began in the 80s when I gave a party in Washington, D.C. for Nicaraguan refugee children. It wasn't for the Contras, although I'm sure that would have been fun too. But fundraising is work. It's hard to separate people from their money. There is finesse to approaching a potential donor. I never bring up money when I first meet someone. It's not like it's a secret. I mean, they know why I'm there, but I like to see how long I can go before I ask for a gift. Call me a tease.
It's a marketplace transaction. I managed to absorb that at quite a young age. I was a precocious child. Well, actually, I was sort of lonely. I didn't perceive myself as being attractive. I mean, I didn't look like a Calvin Klein ad, but I was smart. I didn't play by the rules. Guys were mostly scared of me. They didn't want to get involved emotionally, but they did want to fuck. And for a while, I was willing to accept that. It was feeling warm, feeling intimate, just feeling.
So the other day, I was riding around New York in a limousine, and I thought it was during a hotel strike. I thought to myself, now I know what it feels like to be a bag lady. You can't just go around and pick up every homeless person you meet and bring them home with you. But if you can help by saying something entertaining, you can bring a light into their eyes. Maybe that's what the word socialite means.
You become your job. I've become a hustler. Even when I'm not hustling, I'm a hustler. I don't suppose it's any different than a factory worker who works on a line for 40 hours a week and comes home just cut off, numb. People aren't built to flip on and on like water faucets.
I work in a luggage factory. We make suitcases. The tank I work at is 6 foot deep and 8 foot square. In 40 seconds, we have to take the wet felt out of the filter. Put the blanket on to draw out the excess moisture. Wait 2-3 seconds. Take the blanket off. Pick up the wet felt and balance it on your shoulder. Reach over, get the hose. Spray the inside of this copper screen. Turn around to the hot dry dye behind you. Take the hot piece off and set it on the floor. Put the wet piece on the hot dye. Press this button. Inspect the piece we just took off. Stack it. Count it. 40 seconds.
You take the wet piece.
In the summertime, the temperatures of our workstation range anywhere between 100 to 150 degrees.
3 seconds.
I have taken thermometers and checked it out myself.
Take the wet piece off.
I have arthritis in the joints of my fingers.
Reach over.
Naturally, my shoulder balance in that wet piece.
Copper screen.
Sometimes the hoses leak and spray back on you. The hydraulic presses leak, so you're slipping on oil. You have the possibility of being burnt every time that hot dye hits that wet felt. You're engulfed in a cloud of steam. Every 40 seconds. The tanks run 24 hours a day. I work 8 straight hours with 2 10-minute breaks and a 20-minute break for lunch. I find it difficult to eat my lunch in that length of time. Granddad was a sailor, and he blew off the water. My father was a farmer, and I his only daughter. I took off with a no-good mill-working man from Massachusetts, who died from too much whiskey, and leaves me these 3 faces to feed. Mill work ain't easy, mill work ain't hard. Mill work most often is a goddamn awful boring job, and I'm waiting for a daydream to take me through the morning and put me in my coffee break so I can have my sandwich and remember. Me and my machine for the rest of the morning, for the rest of the afternoon gone, and the rest of my life. They can't keep men on the tank. They say it's too monotonous. I think women adjust to monotony better than men do because they're used to doing more than one thing at once. Whereas a man can only do one thing at a time. A woman can listen to a child whilst her mind is doing something else. It's the same way on the tanks. You gotta be automatic with what you're doing whilst your mind is doing something else. My mind begins to wander to my days back on the farm, and I can see my father smiling at me, swinging on his arm, and I can hear my granddad's stories of the storms out on Lake Erie, vessels and cargoes, fortunes and sailors' lives were lost. It's my life has been wasted, and I have been a fool to let this manufacturer use my body for a tool. I get to ride home in the evening, staring at my hands, swearing by my sorrow that a young girl ought to stand a better chance. And may I work this mill just as long as I am able, and never meet the man whose name is on the label. It's me and my machine for the rest of the morning, for the rest of the afternoon gone, and the rest of my life. wish you didn't have to work in a factory. But when it's all you know how to do, that's what you do.
Is someone who brings in new members. You try to build an organization that will give people the power to make the changes. I built a fairly solid organization of rural people in Pike County to stop Bethlehem Steel from strip mining. I had to tell the people again and again that they had the stuff to do the job, that it was possible to win. I mean, most people down in their gut don't believe it. Nobody believed we could stop Bethlehem Steel, but all the people in Pike County wanted was a park, just a place for their kids. And Bethlehem said, go to hell. We're not going to give you a damn thing. So I got 20, 30 people together I saw as leaders, and I said, let's get that park. They said, we can't. I said, yes, we can. So we got enough people. We wrote letters, we protested, till finally we got on TV. And guess what? Bethlehem caved. A couple months later, 4,000 people drove up to watch the bulldozers grade down the land to make that park. The problem is that a lot of people get it into their mind that they can't do a damn thing about it. I think we have it inside all of us to make change. I mean, all of human recorded history is what, 5,000 years old? How many people in that length of time have made an overwhelming difference? 20? 30? The problem with history is that it's written by college professors about great men. But you and I know that's not what history is. History is a hell of a lot of little people, men and women, like you and me, getting together and deciding that they want to build a better life.
If I could have been what I could have been, I could have been something.
I wanted to be a writer.
A Major League Baseball player.
Own a little farm.
What I could be had been left to me, I could have been something.
But then I got married.
Then the kids came along.
And my dad took sick.
A tower of strength, a center of power, at $10 an hour.
It's always a stumbling block. I was gonna work for a few years, buy me a car, head west. Well, I met the wife. Kinda changed my plans. You never know what you would've did.
I could have done what I could have done. I could have done big things.
Someone to do what I wanted to. I could have done big things.
Swam a few rivers,
Climbed a few hills.
Paid all my bills.
Now it's just dreams that I'm stuck with, and hell, that ain't a lot to show.
I haven't gone far from the starting line, but deep down inside where it counts, I know that if I could have gone,
where I could have gone,
where I could have gone,
places.
I could have gone far away.
Way to go. As far as I could go, I could have gone places.
I could have gone far away.
End of the line to the top of the tier, a long way from here.
I could have
Way back then I had ambition.
way back then. Oh, way back
Never to go for an answer. It was tougher to fight all those ifs and or buts.
All those ifs and or buts. But if I could have been what I could have been, I could have been something special. If my destiny had been left to me, I would have been something. If they had just let me go where I was raring to go, and I was raring to go back then. If they had just let me go, only knows, God only knows what I could have been.
Could have been something.
What I could have been.
Could have been something.
What I could have been. Could have been somewhere special.
Could have been someone.
What I could have been. What I could have been.
Could have been someone special.
What I could have been. I could have gone somewhere special. A long way from here.
The last hour is the hardest. You sit there with half a mind and one eye on the clock.
All I'm thinking about is getting home, taking off my uniform.
And a cold can of beer.
Putting my feet up on the idiot box.
When the whistle blows, got a lot of guys want to sit around and talk. I just want to get out of here.
It's a pretty good day laying stone. Most of the time, you get so invested in what you're doing that you're finding the clock the other way. There's not a house in this country that I haven't built that I don't look at every time I go by. And if there's one stone crooked, I notice it. The people who lives there, they're almost definitely not gonna notice it, but I still notice it. You see, stone is my entire business. Stone is my entire life.
He builds a house with his hands. 30 years go by, it stands. It stands where nothing stood. A house of stone. The mason sleeps real good. He does his work day flies. When time's a big surprise, and then it's one more stone to get just right. There's always one more stone before the night. Every house he builds, every stone he lays, it's not just making money and counting off the days.
I daydream all the time about stone. One day, he's gonna build me a stone cabin down by the Green River. He's gonna have stone cabinets in the kitchen. Everything stone. He's even gonna have a stone front door, even though it's gonna be very heavy. Seems like all my dreams got a piece of rock mixed up in them.
He builds a house with his hands. 100 years go by, it stands. It tells you who he was. Our life goes fast, but the work a mason does, it's made to last. The work a mason does.
Nothing on this earth is gonna last forever, but with stone you're getting pretty close.
It's made to last.
I can't relax. Because when you ask a guy who's 58 years old, what does a press agent do? You force me to look back on what a fakakta life I've had. My hopes, my aspirations, what I did with them. What being a press agent does to you. What have I wound up with? Rooms full of clippings and a case of colitis. But what has been my main problem? The inability to say no. The insistence on being a part of everything. The fear that you're going to miss something. One psychiatrist said to me, a guy with one ass can't ride two horses. Being a publicity man is a confession of weakness. It's for people who don't have the guts to get attention for themselves. They spend their whole life telling the world how great somebody else is. In this work, you don't build anything. If I had a little mom and pop candy store and I built it into a bigger store, I would have sold it for millions. Who do I sell my clippings to?
Good evening, my lords. Is there anything exciting at the bar that I can offer you? It would be very boring if I had to say, would you like a cocktail? Over and over. So I come out different for my own entertainment. Maybe with cocktails, I give them a little philosophy. They get coffee, I give them political science. I have an opinion on every subject there is. My bosses don't like it, so I have to speak sotto voce. But if I get heated, I don't give a damn. I speak like an Italian speaks. I have to be a waitress. How else does the world come to me? Everyone wants to eat. Everyone has hunger, and I serve them. I can't be servile. There's a difference. I get intoxicated by giving service. It becomes theatrical, and I feel like Mata Hari. I get intoxicated. I'm on stage. There's some us don't care when they put down the plate. There's a sound, not with me. When they move a chair, it'll scrape with a grate on the ground, not with me. I will have my hand right when I place the glass. Notice how I stand right as customers pass. Serve a demi-tasse with a gesture so gentle. Do it again till it's near oriental. Da, 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 da. It's an art to be a fine waitress, to see that you pleasure each guest. There's a twist to my wrist when I bring your steak in. Watch how I take in your liver and bacon. It will all be stylish and smart. That's what makes it an art. I remember one day, as I do now and then, I had shakes. Down I went. There with my tray full of coffees and cordials and cakes. Down I went. But I kept my poise, not one guest heard me fall. Never made a noise, not one noise, food and all. If you have to crawl, you give them what they like. You carry your tray like it's almost ballet like la 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 la. It's an art to be a fine waitress. Each evening I treasure the test. Like tonight was a fight, 'cause they hired this busboy. His clothes all a must boy. Guess heard him cuss boy. We have a quick heart to heart. Even that is an art. Tips? Ha! Tips are important to people like captains and bartmen. For them, it's a tipsy. For me, I'm a gypsy. Just toss me a coin, and I suddenly feel like I'm Carmen. So on through the ulcer, the backache, the hot, sweaty feet. On you go. There is your knife dull, sir, and Madam wants what with hurt meat? On you go. 2 a.m. approaches, the curtains descend. There among the roaches, my axe at an end. Every night I tend to find myself crying. There's no work so trying or so satisfying. I tell everyone that I'm a waitress and I'm proud. If someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, you're terrific. How come you're just a waitress?" You know what I say to them? I say, "Why? Don't you think you deserve to be served by me? It's an obvious.
Miss, please take care of this.
To do without leisure or rest.
Can we have a check, please?
So I zoom
Miss,
through the room
please
with a flare.
bring
No
some
one else
more
has
of these.
air. No one else has, I swear. No one else has my lilt.
Miss,
When I say
please,
a la
another order to go.
You can see it gives me a glow.
Plate, miss, my cup, miss.
Every time I prove I'm
late, miss, hurry up, miss.
Maybe I'm not quite
Miss.
Michelangelo.
And a bag for my dog.
But I'm not just a waitress.
You were great.
I'm a one.
But I'm
woman show.
My check, please. My change, please. The laundry is ready. Let's go.
After 16 years here on the job, I took a trip. I went to Hawaii for 2 weeks. Went with my lover. My eldest daughter, she says to me, "Act your age." I said, "Honey, if I were acting my age, I wouldn't be walking." Not after 16 years on this job.
I worked for them for 16 years. Then overnight, they let half of us go. It's known as Black Thursday. They told us to clear out, leave, that's it. No goodbyes. One guy broke down right there and started to cry. "Please don't do this to me. I've done a great job. What did I do wrong? My daughter's getting married next month." How am I supposed to face people? All of a sudden, no one calls. You go out and start visiting friends, but they're busy with their own work. No one has time for you. This is all a psychological... I don't want to get into it.
It was a year ago November, and I'm still looking for a job, but I'm not giving up this fight.
Look, in this economy, I'm lucky to have any job at all. But I wish I knew what it felt like not to have to go to work. When I retired, first 2 years I was downhearted, had no place to go, nothing to do. But then I gave myself a good going over. "Joe," I says, "you can't sit at home like that and waste your time. You gotta get out, do things." Well, day goes pretty fast for me now. I don't daydream. That daydreaming, it don't do you no good. I just sit and keep busy, you know. You'll wake at 10, fold up the bed. You don't want to leave your couch open all day, you know. It's depressing. You cook an egg, you toast some bread, you cook for yourself, you save a bottle. If you don't keep track of your money, who will? You think about the days ahead, you don't go feeling sorry for yourself. It's like I said, you can stay home, be mad at the world, or you can get out and do things. You take a walk, you meet a chum. This one guy lives over by National Biscuit. A boy used to see the nice aromas. You shoot the bull, you argue some, or maybe he calls up a couple of other fellas to come over and play some poker. They lose at gin until they come. This guy remembers what kind you picked up, the dirty bum. Could even get a beat at gin. Beats doing nothing. You take a bus, you take a train, you go visit your wife's grave. On the way, you read the Reader's Digest. It does you good to use your brain. Maybe you go out and see a cousin, you bring a six-pack along. You just take a stroll down memory lane. When we were young, we was always together and raising Cain. You know, we go back a long way, him and me. All the times we had. I remember once, back in '62, we were at this fair with these girls we knew, on this crazy ride where you screamed or you prayed. The Big Dipper, they called it. We could hardly walk as we left the car, so we staggered down for a candy bar. Then we sat and laughed at the penny arcade. That penny arcade, let me tell you, good times indeed. At 6 o'clock, you watch the news. Them politicians get you so mad you throw your slippers at the set. You cook some Franks, no big to-dos. Most nights you lay down, you straighten up, maybe you call your daughter. You'll watch the game and take a snooze, but then there's Sunday. Sunday's different. You change your shirt and shine your shoes, 'cause you're going around the block to the tavern. You shoot some pool, you drink some beer. You don't have to have a lot to have a good time, let me tell you. 3, 4 in the evening, you find a pal, you bend his ear. You meet a lot of your old crowd on Sunday. Some nights, some of you sing the kind of song you never hear, like Stardust or In the Mood, and then you cheer. Remember one night we sang Till We Meet Again. Believe it or not, I once did a waltz to that tune, honest to God. It was at a dance, we was 17, and the girl was like from a magazine, and the lights were low, and I really mean low. I think all my buddies had something to do with that. And I kissed her cheek as we waltzed away. I remember that like it's yesterday. Why was she surprised? I can hear her say, Joe. They take you home from round the block. You take your cash out of your sock. You fix the bed, you change the lock. You wind the clock. When I retired, a lot of people told me, Joe, you shouldn't have done it. You still got your health. But it was too late. I don't know why I retired. Just a habit, I guess. I ain't got no regrets, though. I keep busy, keep moving. I go to fires once in a while. Remember that fire we had on Milwaukee Avenue? I was there. Smoke was crazy. It was everywhere. Boy, that was some fire.
You go in there and it's dark. Smoke's pouring out the goddamn building, and it all happens so fast. I feel this tremendous heat to my left, and I turn around and the whole fucking room's orange. Yellow, you can only see orange, you can feel the heat. The lead man and the other fireman got the ladder up and saved 2 people, but there was a man downstairs. He was trying to get out the door. They had bolts in the door, and he was burnt dead. You know what the lead man said to me?
Shit! We lost a guy! We lost a guy!
You saved 2 people! How would you know a guy's sleeping on the pool table?
Yeah, but we lost a guy.
I always wanted to be a fireman. A lot of guys want to be firemen. It's like kids. Everyone's still a kid. Guys 40 years old still feel like a kid inside, except they're starting to lose their hair and don't screw so much. I used to be a cop. Know why I switched to fireman? I liked people. And as a cop, I could feel the hate coming into me. I remember one time I was on the roof of this project, and this big black guy, about 6'7", was at the top of the stairs. And he had his back towards me, so I say, "Hey fella, turn around." And he says, "Yeah, wait a minute." And I notice his elbows moving around his waist, so I say, "Turn around a minute." And it dawns on me that he has a gun caught in his belt, and he's trying to get it out. So I take out my gun, and I say, "You fucker, I'm going to shoot!" And he threw his hands up against the wall. He had his dick out. And he's trying to zip up his fly. And there's a girl in the corner, which I couldn't see. So here's a guy getting a hand job, and maybe a lot of guys would have killed him. So I say, holy shit, I could have killed you. And he starts shaking. And the gun in my hand was shaking like a bastard, so I say, just get the hell out of here. So, I took the fire department test in 98 and got called in 99. You know, the whole fucking world's so fucked up. The country's fucked up. But the firemen, you can actually see them produce. You see them put out fires. You see them come out with babies in their hands. You see them give mouth to mouth and the guy's dying. You just can't get around that shit. That's real. I worked for a bank once. You know, it's just paper. You're looking at numbers. It's not real. But I can look back and I can say, I helped put out a fire. I helped save someone. Someone could be born. Someone can grow old because of me. It shows something I did on this earth.
He had a very good day today. We went down to the senior center, just a mile away. Some days he only wants to stay at home, but on Tuesdays they play music and they dance. You should have seen him dance. They were playing Spanish music. He's a ham, he likes to make the nurses smile. Some days he can't remember who I am, but today he was lucid for a little while. Through it all, I take his pulse, I change his clothes. Where are his children? Heaven knows. It doesn't pay much, but I get through, because I do the work that no one else will do.
She had a very good day today. We went to a nearby park where she likes to play. She's only 5, but she can do it all. And today we took her scooter for a ride. You should have seen her glide, and I was terrified. I spent the afternoon just running by her side. The sun went down and then I brought her home. Her parents work late, I tuck her in each night. And I sing Mahakita, Manamahakita, Mahamahakita, till she's asleep. She says I love you, and I love her too. While I do all the work her mother doesn't do.
I have a family of my own.
I have a daughter back at home.
I send whatever I can
with
spare.
No one singing her to sleep. And sometimes I close my eyes and imagine I am there.
Hasta la madrugada duermete. He's had a very good day today. We went down to the senior center just someday my dreams are gonna all come true. For now I do what no one wants to do. For now I do what no one wants to do.
You know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to play piano. And I'd write songs about growing up in the South with my grandma, my mom, and me. Now I got my own beautiful daughter of my own. And I've got plans for her. So that's why every morning I go scrub up rooms at the Marriott, and in the afternoon I come down to this office and it's scrubbing again. For generations, that's all we've done, scrubbing. My grandma, my mom, and me. With my daughter, she ain't gonna do any domestic work. I aim to be the end of that line. Mama worked just like the mama before her. Domestic working was her trade. There was laundress, cook, and a living help. Thursday girl, babysitter, and a hotel maid. They worked 6 days a week, all day long, and never could get out of debt. Those were the days where the minimum wage was anything you can get. They were cleaning women without faces. They were coming and going on a first name basis. You're talking to somebody who knows. Somebody who knows. And after too many years, Lord, I don't want to be stuck in no laundry room. I don't want to pick up any other broom one of these days. Just want to sleep till noon. All day long I'm thinking my kids out on the streets somewhere. But the folks up in the room don't think you're thinking half the time. Always talking around you like you ain't even there. It's getting old and it's something to do with my mind. I've got a daughter with her head on her shoulders and pretty as a picture too. No, she ain't gonna hide that pretty face behind closed doors, scrubbing floors like her mama do. When my legs give out and my back hold up, I'm gonna give her a better day. Oh, one of these days you'll never see her get down on her knees unless she's down there to pray. No more cleaning women without faces. Oh no, she's gonna walk in on a Miss last name basis. She'll be the first in this family. She'll be the first in this family to have a face you can see, Lord. She ain't gonna be stuck in no laundry room. When she's sleeping, she'll be pushing her own broom. The day may never come till she can sleep till noon, as long as she can get up singing her own tune. For me that day, Lord, for me that day can't come too soon. That day can't come soon. Can't come too soon, too soon. That day can't come. Can't come too soon. I come from 4 generations of cleaning women. But not my daughter. She's from a whole new generation. And that's what we've got coming up. A whole new generation.
My name's Ralph Warner. I'm 19 years old. I ran this mutual fund for the students back in my school. My father runs his own investment firm. I guess it's where I learned. He runs a hedge fund. You know, those are the guys who are always getting caught defrauding their investors. I studied ethics at school, so I'm sure I won't have any problem. I'll be going to business school. Kellogg, naturally. What I'd really like to be is a professional golfer, but realistically, I'll be an entrepreneur. Then I'll start a family, of course. My, quote, dream girl, unquote, has long brunette hair, doesn't wear a lot of makeup, because she's going to be naturally pretty. And she'll have a lot of personality, too. Because when I'm 30 and we're climbing up the ladder, there's going to be a lot more than just looks. And she'll be working at first, but after her first kid, she'll stay home. And she'll be a good mother. I plan to have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. I'd like to live in a colonial house, preferably one that leans toward the Mediterranean style. Maybe it could even be backing right on a golf course, so my wife and I can play golf whenever we want. I hope my wife can play golf.
My name's Charlie, and I'll be 20 in 3 weeks. So I got recommended for this job in a newsroom on a Chicago paper. I went down to the paper, talked to the editor, and told him how much I wanted to be a journalist. He liked me. I had a tie on. Coming to work was a kind of missionary kind of thing for me. I was bringing organic walnuts, organic raisins, and just passing them out to everybody. At this point in the game, I was in a very spiritualistic type mood. I was enjoying my job quite a lot. Most of the time, I was just answering the phones. People would call up and complain or have a problem, and I'd simply say, this is a capitalist newspaper. As long as it's a capitalist newspaper, it's not going to serve you, because its purpose is to make money for its owner. And then I'd tell them to come down to the office or call the editor if they had a problem with it. A lot of people took really well to these suggestions, but the editor, he calls me into his office and he's like, blah, 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 blah. I want to take a baseball bat and smash his head in. I mean, he's a really nice guy. I like him quite a lot. I don't know how much pleasure I would take from getting a .50 caliber machine gun, shooting him and seeing his body splattered to pieces. But my fantasy all spring at the paper was getting a gun and shooting them. Or getting a gun, going to the editor and saying, okay, how do you face your death? I'd been thinking for months, what am I going to do to get fired? I mean, I had to do something to show them, hey, I'm better than you motherfuckers. I'm getting fired because I'm different. I had to think fast. So I went to the editor and I said, I hope you can live with these conditions you're creating. And then I turned around, walked out, and started to cry. But the editor, he hurries after me and he says, wait a second, I'm not even creating these conditions. You are. And I say, no, I'm not the one who has the power. You're the one who has the power. Now I've got myself on unemployment. They were nice to me the first couple times. And then this one woman told me to get a number. I really wanted to tell her, fuck you. I can wait outside your apartment and smash you over the head and take all your money. But that's bitterness. I'm not a bitter person. I'm a pacifist.
Heard a lot of songs say where you're going, my son. Now I know they're true. Boy, you never stop to think how fast the years run, and how they're taking you. I remember you was 3.5. Mommy, we'd sit there after things got quieted. We'd laugh at some new word you said, how tough you were to get to bed, plan the night away, planning for our kid. I was your hero then. I couldn't do no wrong as far as you were concerned. You thought I was the best of men. The tables hadn't turned. You hadn't learned how little time it takes. And daddies make mistakes. Seems to me like lately I've been thinking a lot, thinking about my dad. Lots of funny things come back, thought I'd forgot. Now they make me sad. High school and it used to be, didn't want him touching me and I shuddered if he did. Further back to summer nights, baseball games beneath the lights, and sleeping in the car, my daddy and his kid. He was my hero then. He couldn't do no wrong wrong as far as I was concerned. I thought he was the wisest and the strongest and the best of men. The tables had turned. I hadn't learned how little time it takes, and everybody breaks, and daddies make mistakes. This may sound square, but my kid, he's my imprint. You know what I mean? This is why I work. Every time I see a smart guy walking by, dressed real sharp, I'm looking at my kid. You know what I want? I want my kid to tell me that he's not going to be like me. I want my kid to look at me and say, Dad, you're a nice guy, but you're a fucking dummy. Hell yeah. Look, if you can't improve yourself, improve your posterity. Otherwise, life it isn't worth nothing. You might as well go back to the caves and stay there. You know, I'm sure the first caveman who went over the hill to see what was on the other side, he didn't go there wholly out of curiosity. No, he went there because he wanted to get his son out of that cave. I heard a lot of songs say, where you going, my son? Now I know they're real. Boy, you never stop to think how fast the years run for the things they steal. Now it seems I always knew why I do the things I do and the things I never did. I'd work my whole damn life so I can give a better life than the one my dad could give me. I give it to my kid. You think about a piece of work. Let's say Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. That's a piece of art. But what if Michelangelo had it recreated 1,000 times a year? Don't you think that even dulled Michelangelo's mind?
See, it's not just the work. Somebody built the pyramids.
The pyramids, the Sears Tower, these things don't just happen.
I don't care how little you did. You drive down the road and you say, I worked on this road.
If you go on a bridge, you say, I worked on this bridge.
I think that if a carpenter builds a cabin for poets, then the poets owe that carpenter a little plaque, just 3 or 4 lines on the wall.
Though we labor with our minds, this place we can relax in was built by someone who can work with his hands.
Picasso can point to a painting. A writer can point to a book.
What can I point to?
Everybody should have something to point to.
I would like to see a building. Say the Sears Tower. I would like to see on it a foot-wide strip from top to bottom of the names of every man or woman who's ever worked in or on that building. All of the names. So when a guy like me walks by, he could take his son, take his daughter, and say,
See that building?
I was the one who did the design.
I was the one who drafted the plans.
Every detail and every line. See that building?
I ran the crane that lifted the beams. I was the guy who worked up above.
Look at those bricks are mine.
Every detail and every line. See that building? Look how my door hangs in the frame. See that building?
40 flights up, I scratched my name.
See that building?
I'm on the staff, I work as a guard.
I clean the floors and I clean them good. People don't know my job is hard.
See that building?
5 days a week I work
I do the book.
I handle the mail.
9 on the dot, I punch my card.
See that window.
Up on the ledge.
10 from the top.
See that window.
Count from the left. 1,
2, 3, stop. That's where I work. Everyone should have something to point to, something to be proud of.
Look what I did. See what I've done.
I did the job.
I was the one.
Everyone should have something to point to, something to be tall in the crowd. Proud. See that building day after day after day after day. That's where I put myself on the line. That's where I sweat to earn my pay. See that building.
That's where I put the food on our plates.
That's where I live a piece of my life.
Where I can bring my kids and say, see that building. The one I was proud to say see that building. The windows are washed, the sidewalks are paved, the railroads are tight, the concrete was laid, the records are kept, the office is run, the coffee is sold, the dating was done, the building was built for all eyes to see.